What's up, ladies and gents, it's M00 Photo and welcome to my channel once again. I've been watching quite a few reviews in regard to the DJI Focus Pro and yeah, I got sold. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger. I know somebody told me about this being currently canceled because there are some firmware issues, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't go in depth regarding that issue, but I did some extensive research and I bought this from Canada. But before we get started, please hit the bell button and subscribe. That way you'll be notified of future videos just like this one. This is a friendly channel, so this is how we get your support. It doesn't cost you anything, so thank you again for supporting us. And if you already subscribed to the channel, we really do appreciate you. I already have the Focus Pro installed, so when you get it, it comes in the box. Mine, I believe this was already an open product, so when they sent it to me, it came in a huge box, and this here by itself, it was just an empty box, an empty shell just sitting inside the box. So I went ahead and pulled everything out. It was fairly easy to install, and right now I have that installed on my Red Komodo, and as you can see, ooh, look at that. Yeah, so it basically gives you that very nice, very well controlled focus. How does this work in low light? I really don't know because I haven't had the chance to really push it to that level quite yet, but this is what you get. So this is the handheld unit, and you basically get this, and you get the handle itself that controls the focus wheel, and then you get your LiDAR and a focus motor. The focus motor seems pretty sturdy and durable, so I don't see any issues for future heavy use. I already have a battery in here. I don't know why I kept it in there. I should probably pull it out. But long story short about these Star batteries, a long time ago, because I have a start-stop button, or should I say handle, that's installed on my FX3, and I was going to use this to control that. It's a Tilta one. Unfortunately, it's not working, and I already gave up on it, so I just took this because I bought like 6 of them and just threw this in one of my tough boxes, and thank God I didn't throw them away or give them away, because guess what? That's what this guy right here uses. And I went ahead and ordered the wireless transmitter that's supposed to hook up to this and hook up to your gimbal or hook up to your camera. That way, if you got somebody pulling focus for you, they can just use this to pull focus. So this thing, it feels a little plasticky-ish, but really, really durable plastic. Like, I'd say probably, I don't know if you've had the chance to use the DJI gimbals, if you're familiar with them. It basically feels like the same material, so it's really durable. And basically, to power this on, you just go ahead and press the record button and just hold it, and it'll power on just like that. And once it powers on, it shows you basically where your camera is hooked up to. So once you let it go, it just basically goes back to where it was initially pulling focus out. So we're just going to try that once more. So I'm just going to roll, and you'll see. And once I let go, the motor is just gonna bring it right back to where it was initially. So it just automatically pushes itself. So this right here is supposed to control your iris, but I do not have a second motor connected to that. I have a second motor that's on my RS4 right now that I could probably move there to control the iris, but I really don't think I need that right now. And for those of us that do not know what iris is, it's basically your aperture, your f-stops or t-stops if you're using cinema lenses. It's a really pretty cool, handy, little tool. And I just thought, if you're taking this job seriously, it's not a bad idea to invest into something like this, because you never know if you find yourself in a job where you collaborating with other people in something. Ooh, I almost dropped that. But you're doing something a little more extensive that requires a lot of hands, or you do have a lot of help. You don't have to be the one pulling focus, but somebody else can pull focus for you. And that's basically all this video. And the cool thing is that this thing just sits in here like it fits in like a glove, and so the batteries, I just throw them in there they're safe, they're not gonna go anywhere, and you just close the box. So the LiDAR motor and the handle itself, I just leave those on the camera because it makes it a lot easier. Nobody else touches my cameras other than myself, so I don't have to worry about somebody trying to move that and breaking things. So I just leave them sitting on the camera. However, I've been thinking about moving this system to one of my Sony cameras, but then I'm like, Sony cameras already do have autofocus. I guess it's something that I initially thought, and then I realized Sony autofocus is actually amazing. It's superb. So it wouldn't make any sense for me to move this to any of my Sony cameras, whether that's the FX3 or FX30, unless I'm using cine lenses with them, because now that I have the Vespids and the Kata zooms, it wouldn't be a bad idea, maybe. Yeah, something to consider, you know, for future use. But I had one of the Kata zoom lenses mounted on the RS4 with the FX30, and it was shaking quite a bit. There was not, you know, enough stability to, I wasn't really satisfied with it, because, and it had nothing to do with the gimbal or the payload. I think it was just because it didn't feel stable on the gimbal, because I do have the ring system. But what I've been thinking is, maybe if I just use the Vespids, since they're all the same measurements and everything else, I would just have to reconfigure, you know, every single time, you know, I change a lens, but I would have to deal with the headache of stopping, which I do not like doing that. Why? Because if you're shooting outside, sometimes it gets windy, sometimes it gets rainy and all that, and I just don't feel comfortable exposing my sensor to the element like that, you know, every single time. But that's why I bought the Kata zoom lenses, because then I just put a lens in there, it gives me enough zoom, and if I definitely do desire more zoom than what I have, I can just use that crop sensor, which gives me way more extensive zoom, so I can just handheld, you know, the camera and shoot like that. But that's something for another video, we'll talk about that later. I'm just going to caveat on all of this. So if you're shooting with Sony cameras, be mindful with what kind of batteries you're using, especially if you're using V-mount batteries, because some people have been having issues with small rig batteries. They're fancy little batteries. I'm actually using one of those tiny batteries, so they basically look like this, but they are specifically, instead of newer, they just say small rig. I have these newer ones. I haven't had any issues with them, but I know people that have FX6s, at least 2 people that I've seen so far that have had issues with their cameras, you know, like error codes that prompted them to actually send the camera all the way back to Sony to get it repaired. It's just a lot of headache. These things are not cheap as they are, you know, and dealing with that, you're out of work for quite a while. So I would highly advise, you know, you pay attention on what you're putting on your camera. So I know I'm not telling anybody to go spend their money buying something they don't want to buy, or they don't feel comfortable buying, or you don't have the money to purchase that just yet. But I bought other V-mount batteries. They are the Core SWX batteries, and I bought 3 of those. They were on sale on B&H, I think for a couple $100 each, so I bought 3, and they've been working great. I use those for my shoots with my FX3 and FX30. Well, the FX30 is mostly on the RS2, so and I do have these guys right here, so I have 2 of these, and sometimes I just put these on the camera. They give me about 3-4 hours each one of these, and then I just use the Core SWX batteries to just kind of give me, and I get literally way longer than a day worth of shoot. I've never had to do more than a day of shoot, you know, so yeah, that's pretty much how I do it. But that was just something to add into this video. Please be careful. But until next time, thank you again, you know, for tuning in, and do not forget to subscribe, hit the bell button, like the video, and share it, please. We really do appreciate you, and thank you very much.